Despite the fact that it is a profound statement made by the ancient strategist Sun Tzu, in the midst of chaos, there is also opportunity. It has a strong resonance with the Stoic philosophy that we are going to investigate today. Imagine that you are able to find your calm center and your unshakable core while standing unflinchingly in the midst of the world that is spinning around you. To put it another way, that is the power of Stoicism, and that is the journey that we are going on to together today. We delve into the art of silence, a quality that is so frequently disregarded despite the fact that it is so potent in its depth. The absence of noise is not the only thing that matters. What matters more is the presence of profound inner peace, a power that transmits a great deal of information without the use of a single word. With the ability to master this art, you can transform chaos into clarity and noise into meaningfulness, which can be your greatest asset in this world that is so loud and relentless. We are going to investigate how the Stoics utilize silence, not as a barren space, but rather as a tactical instrument, a way to attain wisdom and resiliency. Consequently, if you are experiencing feelings of being overpowered by the din of life, if you are looking for a sanctuary of peace, or if you are simply curious about the ways in which less can in fact be more, you have arrived at the right location. Discovering how silence can elevate your life by providing peace in the midst of turmoil and clarity in the midst of confusion is something that we can do together as we unravel the secrets of Stoicism. Join me in adopting the Stoic way of life, which involves discovering power in pauses and finding strength in stillness. Discover the full power of silence and its impact on your inner strength and clarity by staying with us throughout the entire video. If you are ready to transform your life with the wisdom of Stoicism, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stay with us throughout the entire video. First, the opponent is more likely to be confused when there is silence. Silence possesses a power that is so singular that it has the ability to truly unsettle those who are around us, particularly when they are attempting to predict your next move. Imagine that you are in a stressful situation, such as a negotiation or a debate, and that you decide to remain silent rather than act defensively or quickly in response to the situation. It is not a matter of sitting back and doing nothing. Rather, this is a strategic decision that has its origins in Stoic philosophy. When all was said and done, the Stoics were masters of control, not only of their actions but also of their reactions. Consider the following: when you remain silent, the other person is left to speculate, to question, and to have doubts about the situation. They have been thrown off their game. They are in the dark, trying to figure out what you are thinking and what you are planning, and the fact that you are uncertain is a powerful tool that you have at your disposal. Silence has the potential to be more powerful and influential than any words that could ever be spoken. On the other hand, here is the real beauty of it. While they are drowning in this sea of confusion, you are not just sitting there. You are observing, analyzing, and planning your next move with a clear mind. You are the one in charge. You will have the opportunity to think, to breathe, and to approach the situation with a level of composure and clarity that can only come from within yourself if you choose to strategically silence yourself. This strategy is not just about gaining the upper hand. Rather, it is about exemplifying the Stoic virtues of wisdom and temperance. Understanding that sometimes the most powerful response is not responding at all is the key to success in this situation. You are not only giving your opponent the opportunity to be confused by your silence, but you are also providing yourself with the chance to listen, really listen, to what is being said, and perhaps more importantly, to what is not being said, which is perhaps more important. Consequently, The next time you find yourself in a difficult circumstance, keep in mind the power that silence possesses. Take it in stride. Allow it to serve as both your defense and your strategy. Let it be a reflection of your inner Stoic, someone who is unfazed by pressures from the outside world and focuses on the strength that comes from within. It is important to keep in mind that when it comes to Stoicism, it is not only about what we say or do, it is also about how we react, how we adapt, and how we keep our composure, our dignity, and our determination. The second step is to get rid of distractions. Distractions are not merely annoyances in our world, which is constantly connected and always on. Rather, they are obstacles that prevent us from achieving inner peace and clarity. They cause our attention to be fragmented, they cause our focus to be scattered, and, to tell you the truth, they prevent us from truly engaging with the profound wisdom that Stoicism supplies. In this particular instance, however, the splendor of Stoic philosophy is brought into full view. Not only does it teach us to persevere through adversity, but it also teaches us to actively transform our surroundings, beginning with our inner selves. Give it some thought. What are we left with after we have removed all of the clutter, the constant pings, and the never-ending streams of notifications? We are left with space to think, space to reflect, and space to delve deeply into the teachings of great Stoic thinkers such as Marcus Aurelius or Epictetus, who understood the significance of solitude and contemplation of themselves and others. At this point, you might be wondering how we can get started with the process of getting rid of distractions. The process starts with deliberate action. When it comes to filtering out what requires our attention, it is about making choices consciously. This may involve establishing specific times during which you will check your email or social media, establishing a peaceful workspace, or simply embracing moments of stillness throughout the course of your day. In this context, the objective is not to isolate oneself from the contemporary world, but rather to navigate it with purpose and discernment, much like a Stoic would. However, there is more to it than simply controlling the noise from the outside. To get rid of distractions, you must also silence the inner chatter, which includes the uncertainties, the fears, and the never-ending what-ifs that cloud our judgment and prevent us from finding peace. Stoicism provides us with tools for this as well, encouraging us to concentrate on the things that are under our control and to let go of the things that are not. The cultivation of genuine wisdom takes place in this state of inner peace, which is devoid of any distractions. Additionally, let us not forget that when we reduce the number of distractions in our lives, we are not only benefiting ourselves, but we are also enhancing our relationships, our work, and our creative abilities. Through increased presence, attentiveness, and engagement with the world around us, we become more present. The presence of this, the complete involvement with the present moment. This is a gift that enables us to live lives that are more fulfilling and full of complexity. As a result, I strongly recommend that you adopt this Stoic practice. Your first step should be to take baby steps, such as devoting a portion of your day to silence and introspection, free from the influence of the digital world. Observe the difference it makes, how it alters your interactions, your thoughts, and the choices you make regarding your life. The path that leads to a life that is more focused, serene, and stoic is this one. Please press like if you have ever experienced things like this. But if you haven't, please comment N. Silence is the third factor that draws attention. Have you ever noticed that when there is a pause while someone is talking, everyone listens more intently? It is comparable to a pause in a symphony, which is the interval of time between notes that intensifies the resonance of the music. It is the power of silence, a concept that is held in high regard by Stoicism due to the fact that it exemplifies the virtue of restraint and conscious action, or in this particular instance, conscious inaction. We are able to create a presence that is both intriguing and commanding when we choose silence, particularly in situations where words are expected to flood in. Imagine yourself in the middle of a heated argument or in a busy meeting room. A person's silence conveys a great deal of information when they choose not to speak for the purpose of listening attentively. In doing so, it generates a magnetic pull, attracting the attention and curiosity of other people. Asking yourself questions like, what are they thinking? Why aren't they speaking, can provide you with a subtle form of control and influence in any interaction you have with someone. With that being said, let us delve even further into the Stoic core of this idea. Stoic philosophy instills in us the concept of prioritizing quality over quantity and substance over superficiality. Through the application of this principle to our communication, we acknowledge that the words we use ought to be meaningful, selected with care, and not dispersed carelessly. When we do speak, the words that we deliver have a greater impact because they originate from a place of thoughtful consideration rather than a place of impulsive reaction. Additionally, silence encourages others to project their thoughts and feelings onto it, which creates an opportunity for greater understanding and empathy as a result of the collective experience. By remaining silent, we give others the opportunity to express themselves, and as a result, we are able to gain a better understanding of their perspectives and the factors that motivate them. This can be extremely powerful in a variety of contexts, including personal relationships, professional settings, and even the conversation that we have with ourselves. Now, embracing silence does not mean that we give up control of our lives and become merely observers of them. On the contrary, it is a choice that is made consciously and actively. Having the ability to know when to speak and when to let silence do the talking is absolutely necessary. Stoicism is characterized by a core virtue known as discernment, which reflects a profound comprehension of the rhythm of human interaction and the significance of each word that we choose to share or withhold within ourselves. It is possible to improve our lives in a variety of different ways by developing the skill of cultivating the ability to work with silence. Through the provision of brief periods of necessary respite, it has the potential to de-escalate conflicts, cultivate deeper connections, and even improve our mental well-being. Stoicism is a set of principles that advocates for a level-headed and thoughtful approach to life. It is a tool, a skill that we can cultivate and improve over time, guided by these principles. Number 4, the power of silence is a source of strength. The practice of embracing silence may appear counterintuitive in our fast-paced world, where activity and noise are frequently associated with higher levels of power and productivity. However, the concept that we discover the true reservoirs of our strength is deeply ingrained in Stoic philosophy. This is because the quiet moments are where we find peace. Stoicism instills in us the importance of introspection and inner calmness, both of which are qualities that improve with time spent alone. It is only when we remove ourselves from the din of the outside world that we are able to hear our thoughts more clearly, comprehend our feelings, and ascertain the path that our will take. There is a sanctuary that silence provides for us, where our minds can relax and grow stronger without being distracted or diluted by the constant noise that surrounds us. Consider the act of remaining silent as a form of mental exercise. Stoics employ silence as a means of fortifying their minds, much like a bodybuilder does by lifting weights to strengthen their muscles. In this stillness, we develop our capacity for resilience by learning to be with ourselves, confronting the chaos that exists within us without flinching, and emerging more centered and grounded within ourselves. During these times of solitude, we are able to cultivate the mental fortitude necessary to face whatever challenges life may present to us. Additionally, silence is a catalyst for clarity. It gives us the ability to sort through our priorities and differentiate between what is necessary and what is just noise. This clarity is a form of strength that enables us to act not impulsively, but with purpose and intention, which is a form of strength. The decisions we make become more deliberate, the actions we take become more meaningful, and our lives become more in line with the values that we hold most dear. But let's go into more detail. The concept of silence encompasses more than simply being alone or inactive. Rather, it is an active engagement with our own inner selves. Taking the time to pay attention to our thoughts, feelings, and intuition is essential. During these conversations that are held in silence, we uncover the truths about ourselves, gaining an understanding of what is truly important to us, what motivates us, and where our convictions are rooted. This self-knowledge is a potent form of strength that provides us with the assurance to make decisions that are appropriate for us, regardless of the pressures or expectations that come from the outside world. It is fascinating to note that the strength that we cultivate through silence is not only beneficial to ourselves, it also radiates outward, influencing the relationships and interactions that we have with other people. Bringing a sense of calm and assurance to our interactions with other people is something we are able to do when we are centered and clear. Because our words come from a place of profound introspection, they carry more weight than they would otherwise. Because of the tranquility and sense of purpose that Stoicism promotes, our presence becomes more significant. The fifth point is the freedom from arrogance and pride. As part of our efforts to cultivate Stoicism, we work toward the realization that, regardless of our accomplishments or achievements, we are all interconnected and dependent upon one another, and we are all a part of the vast tapestry that is existence. It is liberating to come to this realization because it frees us from the shackles of ego, which in turn enables us to experience life to its fullest and to interact with other people in a more genuine manner. To be free from pride or arrogance, however, what does it mean to be proud? It does not mean that we are undervaluing ourselves or that we are not worth anything. Instead, it is about being able to look at both our capabilities and our limitations with the same level of clarity and concentration. This involves coming to terms with the fact that our achievements do not elevate us above other people, and that our shortcomings do not define who we are. In order to navigate life with a sense of equanimity, we are encouraged to treat both successes and setbacks with the same level of calm detachment as this Stoic principle encourages us to do. As a result, we are encouraged to refrain from boasting about our accomplishments and instead allow our actions to speak for themselves. We are able to cultivate a sense of inner peace when we do this, because our sense of self-worth is no longer dependent on the validation or comparison of others from the outside. Furthermore, when we embrace humility, we make room in our hearts and minds for learning and development. As a result, we improve our ability to listen, become more empathic friends, and become more compassionate members of the community. We recognize that every individual possesses something to impart upon us, and we always approach each interaction with a mindset that is open to gaining knowledge. The practice of regularly engaging in self-reflection, which is an essential part of Stoicism, is necessary in order to liberate ourselves from pride or arrogance. We investigate our reasons for doing things, we challenge our presumptions, and we work hard to reconcile our actions with our more fundamental principles. As we do so, we remind ourselves of our common humanity and acknowledge that, just like everyone else, we are imperfect, limited, and prone to making mistakes. Adopting this Stoic virtue also helps to improve the quality of our relationships. When we let go of the need to always be right or to appear superior, we make room for more genuine connections to take place in our lives. We pay closer attention to what is being said, respond with more consideration, and participate in a more meaningful way. As time goes on, we become more approachable, more relatable, and frequently enjoyed by more people. No. 6. Maintaining silence during negotiations. When it comes to any kind of negotiation, the words that we choose to speak are extremely important. However, the moments that we choose to remain silent are just as important. Through the strategic use of silence, one can generate an atmosphere of calm and control, which frequently results in the other party divulging more information than they had intended to. It is a moment that encourages introspection, not only for us, but also for those who are actually participating in the negotiation, which is pushing it into more profound realms of thought and strategy. At this point, from a Stoic point of view, silence in negotiations is not about manipulating or playing games. Rather, it is about harnessing our inner tranquility and giving ourselves the time to respond with wisdom rather than reacting impulsively. When we take a moment to pause, we are not only buying time, we are also asserting our control over the situation, establishing ourselves in the here and now, and giving careful consideration to the next step that we will take. On the other hand, just having a tactical advantage is not the only factor. It is a sign of respect for the words that have not yet been spoken, an acknowledgement of the weight of those words and the potential impact they could have. We send a message to our counterparts that we are thoughtful and deliberate, which are qualities that command respect and attention in any environment. This is accomplished by pausing. Furthermore, this practice of intentional silence aligns beautifully with the Stoic emphasis on listening, which is a skill that is just as important in negotiations as eloquence or persuasion. When we listen, that is, when we truly listen, we are able to gain insights into the needs, fears, and desires of the other party. This understanding has the potential to lead us to outcomes that are beneficial to both parties, along with solutions that take into account the interests of all those involved. But how exactly do we go about cultivating this potent instrument of silence? It all starts with self-awareness, which is another fundamental principle of Stoicism. Our ability to control our impulses to speak can be improved if we have a better understanding of our tendencies, triggers, and habits. Additionally, it necessitates self-assurance, which is the conviction that our viewpoint is valuable and the fortitude to allow it to remain uncluttered by words that are not necessary. The actual act of silence can take many different forms. It is possible for there to be a pause in negotiations after a significant statement, which allows the implications of the statement to reverberate. When conversations become heated or complicated, it is possible to take a moment of silence to reorganize. One alternative is that it can be a space that we make available for other people to occupy, giving them the opportunity to reveal, contemplate, or concede. Kindness and consideration for other people is the 7th principle. The Stoics held the belief that all individuals are interconnected with one another, according to the concept that we are all members of the same human community. Not only are we acting benevolently when we demonstrate kindness and consideration, but we are also acknowledging and respecting the profound connection that exists between us. The Stoic concept of kindness does not involve making grand gestures or seeking recognition for one's actions. The moments when we choose patience over frustration and understanding over judgment are examples of the small, everyday acts of empathy that are central to this concept. It is about taking into consideration the effect that our words and actions have on other people, making the decision to encourage rather than undercut, and providing support rather than criticism. On the other hand, consideration goes one step further than contemplation. It is about actively putting ourselves in the position of other people and gaining an understanding of their perspectives, challenges, and goals. Whenever we engage in conversation with other people from a place of genuine consideration, we make room for meaningful connections, which in turn helps to cultivate mutual respect and trust. But why is this such a significant matter? Furthermore, when we engage in acts of kindness and consideration, we not only contribute to the improvement of the lives of other people, but we also cultivate our own sense of inner peace and contentment. Stoicism instills in us the understanding that our well-being is inextricably linked to the actions we take and the attitudes we have toward other people. We bring ourselves into alignment with Stoic values and promote harmony both within ourselves and in the world around us when we choose kindness. As an additional benefit, this thoughtful and considerate approach has the potential to have a domino effect, motivating others to behave in a similar manner and fostering a community that is more compassionate and understanding. Imagine the impact that would be made if each of us made the conscious decision to behave with a little bit more consideration and kindness. It is possible that the collective result will be transformative. In what ways can we put these principles into practice in our day-to-day lives? The practice of mindfulness, which involves being conscious of our interactions and the opportunities we have to demonstrate consideration and kindness, starts the process. The practice entails pausing before reacting and selecting responses that are reflective of the Stoic virtues of wisdom, justice, courage, and moderation. Eighth on the list, the skill of attentive listening. In the midst of our noisy lives, where distractions are abundant and everyone seems to be competing for the last word, the ability to truly listen deeply and listen with empathy is a skill that is exceptionally uncommon. In spite of this, it is a skill that fits in perfectly with Stoic philosophy, which places a high value on understanding, empathy, and the pursuit of wisdom. Listening deeply involves more than just hearing the words that other people say. It involves actively engaging with the core of their message, the feelings that they are expressing, and the intentions that they have behind their words. In other words, it is listening with the intention of not only responding but also comprehending what is being said. In addition, we discover a profound connection to the Stoic ideals of rationality and empathy when we come to this understanding. By paying close attention to what other people have to say, we show them the respect and attention they are due, thereby acknowledging the inherent value they possess as fellow mortals. This is an example of Stoic compassion, which is the recognition that, just like us, other people have their own challenges, points of view, and experiences that are worthy of being comprehended. However, the advantages of attentive listening span a much wider range than simply cultivating empathy and respect. Engaging in attentive listening allows us to become more receptive to fresh ideas and points of view. As we continue to learn, we improve our ability to solve problems, and we also become better friends and co-workers. We are able to take in and process a greater amount of information, which, in turn, can help us make decisions and actions that are more in line with the Stoic virtues of wisdom and moderation. The question now is, how can we develop this skill of attentive listening? The first step is to have a clear intention. With the mindset that you have something to learn from each conversation, you should approach each one, The focus shifts from your own desire to speak to a genuine curiosity about what the other person has to say as a result of this. After that, work on your presence. One of the most meaningful gifts you can give someone in this day and age of constant notifications and multitasking is to give them your complete and undivided attention. It means putting your phone down, turning off any sources of distraction, and focusing your attention entirely on the person who is in front of you. Always keep in mind that listening involves more than just the ears, it also involves the eyes, the body, and the mind. It is about demonstrating with every fiber of your being that you are truly present and that you care deeply about the situation. Additionally, deep listening requires patience and self-control, which are Stoic virtues that assist us in resisting the urge to interrupt, judge, or formulate our responses while the other person is still speaking. It is important to make room for their words and give them the opportunity to fully express themselves before you engage in conversation with them. Lastly, it is about taking some time to reflect. When you have finished listening, pause for a moment to think about what you have heard. Give some thought to the message, the feelings, and the deeper meaning that lies beneath it. Not only does this reflection help you gain a more profound comprehension, but it also enables you to respond with thoughtfulness and care, thereby exemplifying the Stoic ideal of performing actions after giving them careful consideration. The 9th spot goes to the art of reflective wisdom. This idea is not simply about amassing information or having answers at hand, rather, it is about developing a profound and in-depth comprehension of our experiences, our values, and the world that surrounds us. Stoicism is built on the foundation of reflective wisdom, which enables us to live our lives with intention, to make choices after giving them some thought, and to develop toward our ideal selves. The first step toward gaining reflective wisdom is to engage in the practice of introspection, which requires us to pause, turn inward, and investigate our thoughts, actions, and reactions. Not always is this a simple task. Being honest, being vulnerable, and being willing to confront truths that are uncomfortable are all necessary components. However, this procedure is extremely important. It assists us in comprehending our reasons for doing things, recognizing our prejudices, and elucidating our principles. In essence, it enables us to have a more profound understanding of ourselves. However, the journey toward reflective wisdom is not a solitary one. Stoicism instills in us the understanding that our lives are intertwined with those of others and with the world in general. As a result, our introspection ought to take into account not only our relationships but also our function in society and the influence we have on the world. When it comes to the greater good, how do our actions square up? Do we contribute to harmony or unhappiness with our actions? This more expansive viewpoint guarantees that our knowledge is not merely for our own benefit, but rather contributes to a more significant and communal goal. Let's move on to discussing how this knowledge can be put into practice. Wisdom gained through reflection is not merely theoretical, rather, it is extremely applicable. The decisions we make, the actions we take, and the interactions we take, and the interactions we have are all influenced by it. We are able to make decisions that are more thoughtful, our actions that are more deliberate, and our words that are more measured when we act from a place called reflective wisdom. When confronted with adversity, we develop the ability to remain calm and collected under pressure, as well as the ability to adjust to new circumstances. A Stoic is someone who is able to navigate the ups and downs of life with grace and equanimity. These are the characteristics of a Stoic. On the other hand, how can we develop this kind of reflective wisdom? Creating a space for regular reflection is the first step in this process. One way to accomplish this is by keeping a journal, engaging in thoughtful conversation with other people, or conducting a daily review of your actions and decisions. The key is to pose challenging questions and maintain an open mind about the potential outcomes of the answers. Learning from the past, being present in the here and now, and thinking about the future are all important aspects of this. The adoption of a learner's mindset is yet another essential component. We learn something from every experience, whether it be joyful, painful, or mundane. Life is our greatest teacher, and every experience has something to teach us. By cultivating an attitude of openness and curiosity, we possess the ability to glean valuable lessons from every facet of our lives, thereby expanding our capacity for comprehension and gaining wisdom, resilience, and strength in the face of adversity. The concept of resilience does not involve avoiding pain or denying our struggles. Rather, it is about facing adversity head-on, gaining knowledge from it, and emerging from the experience more powerful and more knowledgeable than before. Stoicism teaches us that although we are unable to directly control everything that occurs to us, we do have the ability to control how we react to it. In order to cultivate true resilience, this response, which is founded on clarity, reason, and virtue, is essential. Nevertheless, how can we develop this kind of resilience? The first step is being willing to accept it. Stoicism encourages us to accept reality in its current state, rather than envisioning it in a different way. This entails recognizing our challenges without passing judgment or feeling sorry for ourselves. When we deal with the difficulties we face with acceptance, we save our energy for the things that are truly important: our responses and our development. Following that, we will utilize the power of perspective. A central tenet of Stoic philosophy is that our interpretations of events are more likely to cause us distress than the events themselves. Through the adoption of a more expansive viewpoint, we are able to recognize our challenges as components of a more comprehensive storyline, one that encompasses the potential for development, learning, and transformation. This viewpoint does not lessen the severity of our suffering. Rather, it places it within a framework that encourages resiliency. At this point, let's discuss the part that community plays in the process of building resilience. There is a possibility that Stoicism places an emphasis on personal virtue and inner strength. However, it also acknowledges our interdependence. Through the sharing of our struggles, the provision of support, and the acquisition of wisdom from those who have experienced similar challenges, we are able to grow and triumph not in isolation but rather in the company of others. These connections help us to be more resilient and serve as a reminder that we are not traveling through this journey alone. In addition, resilience can be developed through consistent practice. In the same way that exercises help a muscle become stronger over time, our capacity for resilience increases as we confront and overcome obstacles. Every challenge then becomes an opportunity for us to put our Stoic principles into practice, to act with bravery, to keep our composure, and to select a response that is in line with our core beliefs. Finding our inner strength and utilizing it to face the challenges that are inevitably going to come our way is the essence of resilience. The key is to use adversity as a driving force for personal development, transformation, and a more profound comprehension of our core principles and principles of value. And perhaps most importantly, it is about moving forward, armed with the knowledge and resilience that we have acquired through the experiences that we have had. Now that we have reached the end of our journey into the depths of Stoic philosophy for the day, it is important to keep in mind that the strength you are looking for is already within you, just waiting to be harnessed through the power of reflection, resilience, and profound wisdom. You are very welcome to accompany me on this journey of self-discovery and development. You are not merely viewers, rather, you are an indispensable component of the Stoic Thinking community, which is unified in our pursuit of mutual comprehension and morality. However, you should not stop your exploration right here. To continue your journey into Stoicism, deepen your knowledge, and strengthen your spirit, you can continue your journey by clicking on one of the videos that are suggesting it on the screen. Together, we are not merely gaining knowledge, rather, we are undergoing a transformation.